Ireland's territorial waters are significantly larger than its landmass. Covering an area of 880,000 kilometres squared, it is more than 10 times the size of the island itself. However, most Irish people are not aware of this. Irish politics features limited discussions on how to utilise this asset and why it's necessary to be able to defend it. The Irish seas are important for many reasons. Ireland's economy is reliant on telecommunications cables from the USA that passes through Irish waters. If several of them were damaged, the economic consequences could be severe. The Irish Sea is also important for our fisheries, who are hurt by illegal fishing practice by international trawlers. The sea is also key to completing the transition to renewables that climate change demands. It is in Ireland's interest to take each of these issues seriously. More discussion around this topic needs to appear in the island's political discourse. To that end, this video will discuss the current state of the Irish Navy, followed by why maritime security is key for Ireland to prosper. The current situation with the Irish Navy is poor. For an island nation, Ireland's naval capacity is extremely limited. The Naval Service currently has just over 700 personnel and is currently operating only one ship capable of patrolling the Atlantic as of 2024. There are a further 2 ships operational but are not fit for Atlantic conditions. The minimum number of personnel advised is over 1,000, meaning it is significantly understaffed. The government has made some positive steps to address this. In 2024, wages were increased for serving personnel, who will now receive €20,000 more than in 2023. This has been done to attract new recruits, as well as retain current members. It is too soon to tell if this will have the intended effect, so for now the staff shortage remains. The Navy has had some success with humanitarian missions in recent years, in a variety of regions around the world. However, with the current shortages, it is unable to properly patrol and monitor Ireland's territorial waters. This neglect is a result of various governments' inactions over many years. It also reflects the apathy regarding the defence issues more broadly. But the development of the Navy is important, as we will now discuss. This limited capacity for patrolling Ireland's territorial waters means that the country is attractive to smugglers. In recent years, there has been several high-profile cases of drug smuggling in Irish waters, likely coming from South America. While Ireland has fortunately begun to take a more health-based policy approach to drug addiction, smuggling represents a significant revenue source for Irish gangs. The poor security capacity also affects the state's ability to crack down on illegal fishing. This is especially true regarding foreign super trawlers. This issue has been brought up in the Dáil just this year, following allegations from whistleblowers in the fisheries enforcement sector that Dutch trawlers were illegally fishing. There is a large perception amongst Irish fishermen that super trawlers often overfish and endanger Irish fishermen's livelihoods. This has been a significant issue for decades, ever since Ireland joined the EEC in the 1970s. The fisheries are often regarded as one of the few losers in Ireland joining the European community. And with a severely limited naval presence in the seas, this issue is harder to prevent. Ireland is also in an important position regarding transatlantic telecommunications cables between Europe and the United States. 75% of all cables in the Northern Hemisphere pass through or near Ireland's territorial waters. Having the ability to protect these cables is vital for both the Irish economy and Europe's. This is especially true since the start of the Ukraine war, which has seen several underwater pipelines in the Baltic sabotaged. Early in the Ukraine war, the Russian Navy planned to hold a training practice in Ireland's EEZ, close to several cables. While they eventually cancelled these plans, the stunt did highlight how unequipped Ireland is to monitor the cables themselves. Ireland does not have an agency dedicated to protecting undersea infrastructure. Rather, 5 separate government departments, as well as private companies and state agencies, cover it collectively. This has led to fractured policy decisions and is reflective of how little interest the state has had in developing maritime security. While a deliberate attack on the infrastructure is unlikely, it is not impossible, and Ireland should strive to develop its maritime security to prevent this. This could be done without changing its policy surrounding neutrality, which should be seen as a separate issue. Ireland is also in a fragile situation with its energy security. Over 70% of the energy Ireland consumes is imported, significantly higher than the EU average of 58%. Most of this is oil and gas and comes to Ireland through sea pipelines from the UK. Only a small amount is produced by Ireland from the Corrib gas field off the west coast. At a time when sea pipelines are blowing up across the Baltic Sea, this dependence on imports should be reduced. This is already being done with ambitious plans from the government to develop the renewables sector through wind projects in the Irish Sea. There has also been a large increase in energy being generated through solar panel farms across the country. This scheme allows farmers to rent their land to the government for a period of 20 years and so far has been a success. However, as of 2022, only 13% of Ireland's energy needs have been met by renewables. Gas and oil are still overwhelmingly relied on. Ireland should dramatically scale up its development of its seas as an energy source, both through wind turbines and possibly, if it is worthwhile, waves. Ireland's coastline provides the perfect conditions for both renewables and would provide greater diversification of energy sources. An important prerequisite for this is again for Ireland to develop its naval capacities to monitor and defend its sea-based energy resources. However, it is also true for renewables that will soon be transported to Ireland through underwater cables. For example, Ireland will soon be connected to the French electricity grid through a subsea power cable that is due to finish by 2027. It will provide enough electricity to power over 500,000 homes. It will be renewable because France gets most of its energy needs through nuclear power. Although producing nuclear power is illegal in Ireland since 1999, consuming energy generated by it is not. While this is quite ironic, it also shows how even the transition to renewables will still in part rely on underwater transportation for the years to come. The importance of developing the Navy and its underwater monitoring abilities will remain. An improved Navy would help in the defence of Ireland's fisheries, cables, and energy resources. The country can only benefit. That's all for today, guys, and thanks very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.